Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. We've been talking about Jesus, his temptations, his emotions, his responses to people, just how he did ministry, which is how he lived life because his life was ministry. I mean, of course, he had those times when he had to withdraw, to do self care, and to make sure that he stayed in communion with God. But every time he walked out into the world, and even when he was in someone's home, it seems like ministry was pulling. Well, anyway, we are getting closer and closer to the cross, and even when I think we're really close in one gospel, I'll turn to another gospel and see another nugget. And we're in John 13, verse 1. And it says something like, it said that, Jesus knew his time was nearing, the hour was coming. And it says in the latter part of verse 1 that he had loved his disciples during his ministry here on earth. And now he loved them to the very end. I feel like part of that, it wasn't just talking about he loved them to the point that they were at then, but it says to the very end. It lets us know that Jesus was committed to loving them. He knew that it was about to get thicker. It was about to get tougher. It was about to get rougher. It was about to, the rubber was about to meet the road. Everything he had taught them, everything he had put in them was about to be tested. And several of them would fail the test. And he knew it. But it says he loved them to the very end. Jesus was our example. Jesus is love. Jesus is agape love. Jesus' love is unconditional. And that's our point today. Can we look at the people in our lives and say with full assurance that we have loved them? We're not even at the end yet. Now, I will say this. We do have an end to seasons. We do have phases in our lives. And we need to ask ourselves, even if the people shift that are in our lives, even if, we may not be as close to someone as we used to be, we need to make sure that our love is unconditional. Have we stopped loving people because they don't sit in the same place in our lives? Have we stopped loving people because maybe now we don't talk every day or we don't talk as much? Or have we gotten with God to find out? Because remember, earlier this week, when it talked about rejection, the Bible, can't remember what scripture it was right now, but we were talking about how Jesus said that he, the stone that the builders rejected had become the chief cornerstone. And then you drop down a little bit and it says it was the Lord's doing. And it's marvelous in our eyes. So when seasons change and people shift to different spots in our lives, do we realize that it's the Lord's doing? And do we love them in spite of? Agape love is unconditional. And you don't know whether you're operating in it until some conditions are presented, until there are some opportunities not to love, until there are some reasons to back away, and you love anyway. So that's my thing for today. Have we really loved people the way Jesus did? Knowing Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. He knew that Peter was going to deny him. He knew that Thomas was going to doubt. But it says he loved them to the very end. I challenge you today. Those people that God has placed in your circle, in your life, that are at times difficult to love, love them to the very end. This has been One Momentum with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you got to flutter before you can fly. But flying is in your future.